Hi y'all, how are you? So this video is just about me being raw. Uh, I shared my story of having been an SRA victim. I'm a survivor. Um, and I've tried to, share videos of some things that I've learned um, just to help people. But I'm just going to be really real right now, because I know that there's so many of us that we turn on YouTube and we hear all this fluffy, wonderful shit. And, we can go get help and it costs hundreds of dollars, and I get that and I understand that, I mean, people are making a living helping other people and that's all they're doing. So, yeah, support them. I totally agree. But some of us, are just, we don't have any money. you know we're just we're just trying to survive. We've been just surviving. And so I just want to be straightforward about about some things that have been going on in my life, and just be real, because I know there's so many of us that just need to hear someone who's just real. So I've shared that I've been homeless, and for basically for the past 7 years, I've just gone from home to home to home to home to home, lost my things, rebought things, just trauma, 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 trauma. I got myself in trouble. I've never been in trouble my whole life. Made a mistake. It was an accident. But the book was thrown at me, and not as bad as it could have been. So I'm grateful for that. But still ruined my life. And I'm just a regular person like anybody else. I mean, I raised 5 kids. I was married. I got divorced. And ever since I got divorced, I mean, the things I'm going to share, it's not about blaming, okay? It's not about blaming. It's about reality. It's about, this is my reality. I'm not blaming anybody or anything. This has just simply been my reality. But I served my family and I took care of my kids, and I did what I thought was the right thing to do, and I did the best I could, and it wasn't good enough to them. It wasn't good enough. I'm good enough, but it wasn't good enough to them, and it wasn't good enough to society. And I ended up getting screwed. And so when I got divorced, because I had mental health issues, and because I didn't work. I only got 3 years alimony. I had no idea how to survive. I had SRA issues. I mean, I had no idea how to survive. But a lot of people's mentality has been, it's just people think that they don't understand trauma. They don't understand. When you've been through SRA, or even less than that, because it's honestly, whatever trauma you've been through, it's just as bad as anything else. You can't compare stories. Trauma is trauma. Whatever is traumatizing to you is trauma. Okay, so but at the same time, when you've been through SRA, and the horrifying stuff that goes with that when you were a child and when you were a teenager, and it will fuck your whole life up. And you can't function like other people in the world until you heal, or and even when you heal, it's a lifetime of healing. It's been a lifetime of healing for me. So anyway, so when I got divorced, and I only got 3 years alimony, I had no idea what I was doing. I did not prepare. I didn't even know how. I mean, I didn't even get like what to do. And I just had a good time because I was away from my perpetrator. I was away from my my family who judged me, and I needed that time. I have no shame for just trying to fucking enjoy myself for a minute. But I had no idea. I honestly had no idea, like, how. I hadn't worked. I was afraid of working. I was so terrified of having a job. Like, it totally terrified me until I got a job, but it took me, like, the good full 3 years to even just step out and get a job. And once I got the job, I was like, oh, I can do this. This is okay. I don't know why I was so terrified, but it took the full 3 years, for me to get to that point. And I had asked for more time. I had asked for 5 years. And I deserved it. I deserved at least 5 years. At least. I mean, that's not much, considering I spent my whole life taking care of my family and my husband. And I don't get Social Security. My ex-husband, he didn't pay taxes. He was a salesman. Yeah, I don't know how the hell he ever got around all kinds of shit. But, he didn't pay taxes. I don't get Social Security. And, anyway, so, I ended up with a man who wounded himself, couldn't get his shit together, and was abusive toward me. But I had no one else. And when I ran out of money, he's all I had. And, I ended up for years just going from place to place. And the only people who would help me are men that wanted to fuck me, basically. And men that did drugs. And I started doing drugs. I was in a really bad situation. I made some very, very poor choices. But I admitted that to my family. And my family, basically, they could care less whether I was starving, whether I was in 118-degree weather with nowhere to go, whether I was safe. They didn't care. They didn't care. One iota. And so I didn't have family to go to or friends to go to. And I've just gone from year to year just trying to learn on my own off of YouTube how to ascend, how to survive, how to manifest. And it's never worked. Like, none of it has ever worked. And I'm not saying that it doesn't work. I'm just saying that I've not been able to achieve a simple goal of just being on my own and being able to take care of myself. I mean, that's been my goal for years and years, is just to be able to hold a job long enough and stay in one place long enough so that I can get my own place. And I've not cared whether it's a shack, a shed, like, the thought of having a 1-bedroom apartment is like luxurious of a thought for me. Like, that would be really making it, and, I went back and forth, staying with this one man because I was very, very much in love with him, or I thought I was. I mean, I still feel like I love him. And he treated me terrible. I mean, he used me. He used me and sent me back to the streets. But, that's all I had. And I got caught up in drugs. And honestly, I mean, if you were in my position, you might do the same. You might do the same. You probably would. So, just trying to get out of this victim mentality. I mean, it's just so hilarious how people judge you. And, the biggest judgers are the ones that won't lift a finger for you. The biggest judgers are the ones that won't give you $5. And so, when you are on the street and you have no friends and you have no family and you have no help and you've been through the things that I've been through, it's very difficult to deal with. And you're, dealing with men, for me, men that just want to use you, and you're trying to navigate this thing. And, I was never a prostitute. Never. Never. I refused. And that's why I moved so many times. I moved, oh my God, I can't even tell you how many times, dozens of times. Because, I would offer, I'd say, okay, will you let me stay there? I will cook, I will clean, I will do your laundry, but I'm not going to screw you. And they'd say, okay, yeah, I know. But within a few weeks, month tops, they'd be like, oh no, you owe me, and because of the mistakes I've made, I've not driven in 5 years. I've had no license. And actually, I've got a year and a half until I can even apply for my license. It has made it, extremely difficult. And I'm one of those incredible survivors. I'm resilient. And I've resented that. I've resented the fact that I'm so resilient. Because it's just been so hard. It's just been so hard. And, through all this, I do have to say that, miracles would happen here and there, like, where I'd have somewhere to go, or, one time I had to break a window. I broke my ex's window because it was 118 degrees outside and I had nowhere to go. And I thought he was out of town working. I didn't know he wouldn't answer me. And I had to live. I had nowhere to go. And, he was angry about it at first. But he put me by the garbage. He put me out in 118 degree weather just to punish me. And I went and sat by the garbage at the liquor store right across the street. Because that's where I had to go. And then he let me back in because I begged. And, I'm not a victim. Okay? I know that I can heal from all this. But how do you heal when you have no stability? How do you heal, when you have to keep going through this stuff? And how do you get out of that loop? How do you get out of this loop? I have done so much inner work. And I know there's a way. I do. I know there's a way. And I know that the longer you're in this loop, the more difficult it is to get out of it. But there's always hope, and I know that. So I'm just saying that I know that there are many of you out there who have been in this situation, and people just don't get it. People just have no compassion. They're judgmental. I've had every institution use me and just spit me out and put me at the curb, especially the church, especially Christian church. Like I was fascinating to them. My past was fascinating. And then when they were done with me and, they had no more use for me, they just left me at the curb. They didn't care about my situation. Anyway, I guess I'm just saying all that to say that there's many of us out there who have been severely, abused and used, and, there's all of us on the spectrum there, but there's many of us who have a heart still, and just want to get our shit together and are willing to do the work. There's so many people out there like that, and are grateful for whatever they have that's good. And I am too, you know, but reality's been reality. And all I want to say is that for those of you who have it okay, you know, who are stable, help somebody. And don't help them by giving them just a fucking pair of socks. There are, get out there in your community and find the ones, that are willing. You know through your intuition. And they'll come your way. I mean, I know. I know. Because God does that. He puts people, but we all have a choice. And I'm just saying, do more than just give them a pair of socks. But at least do that, maybe $5, maybe 20, don't be so worried that your $20 is going to go to drugs or whatever. Don't be so worried about that. We're all just, us on this side are just trying to survive. And $20 is helpful. Don't worry about where it's going. Don't control it. Just be kind. Don't allow yourself to not give because you can't control what you're giving. I'm at a place now where my perpetrators are helping me. My old perpetrators, some of them. But time has gone on. There's been 10 years and people change, people grow. And I'm really grateful for every good thing that I have. I'm really grateful. I have a job. And I'm really hoping that this will last where I'm at. I don't know anybody in my area. I had to leave a traumatic situation with a man because I trusted where I shouldn't have. But I just want to say, I want to acknowledge the many of us out there who are in this position. And I also want to say to those who have it good, to be helpful. And if nothing else, just be kind. Don't judge. Don't judge. Because you don't know what you would do if you were in our position. And you can't even imagine. You can't even imagine what it would be like to be in our position. Try and imagine that. Just try and imagine it. And we all cope in our own ways. We all cope in our own freaking ways. Some of us drink too much. Some of us do drugs. Doesn't mean we're full-blown addicts. We just try and cope. Don't judge us. Don't fucking judge us. Please. You can tell. Use your intuition. You can tell the difference between those who are manipulative and hateful, and those of us who are just trying to get by and if given the opportunity would flourish. Use your intuition. You'd know. You would know. You really would. There's so many intelligent people who are struggling so much because of COVID and because, circumstances that just got out of control because of poor choices. And we've all making poor choices. We've all made poor choices. It's just some of us, it cost us more. And you could be in that spot. You could be in that spot. I'm just a normal person. I raised my children the best I knew how. I was a churchgoer. I did the best I could. And I did all the work I could possibly do to deal with the SRA and the multiple personalities. But it's a lifelong thing, it doesn't just go away. You can't just get over it. You don't just get over this shit. especially without support or stability. Anyway, I'm just trying to be real. I don't know if what I've said on here is too much. I don't know. I'm doing the best I can. I'm trying to be helpful. Because you know what? As shitty as things have been, it gives me great pleasure to, if someone who hears this, someone who hears any of my messages on YouTube feels validated, at the very least, that's my bliss. That's my bliss, you know? Because I know what it feels like to feel so isolated and so crazy and so not like the norm. And you have to put on your smile and you have to act like other people and you have to be a chameleon because nobody gets it. And they treat you like you're stupid. And you're not stupid. So, you know, if anyone out there feels better, and I get the messages. I mean, on my YouTube account, I hear so many people say thank you. You know, and that's my bliss. That's my bliss. I'm so glad. I'm so glad that you don't feel so alone just from my one video. Or maybe you feel helped. Or maybe you just feel cared about and acknowledged. Anyway, I think this is going too long and I gotta be able to upload this, so. Thanks for listening. Thank you very much for listening. And bless you. I love you. And I will talk soon. Okay? Thanks. Bye-bye.